Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about are we living in a simulation? And this is part 3. But before I start talking about that, I would like to expand on something that I said at the end of part 2. And that is that the system we live in is a fair one, and also that we are supported in our evolution. So when I said our system is fair, I didn't mean that everybody treats everybody well and the people who make the rules and the laws do so in a fair and just manner. In fact, because we have free will, a lot of people choose to control and manipulate others for their own benefit. What I meant by a fair system was that because each of us have free will, we are able to choose what beliefs and values we wish to have, and therefore ultimately we have the decision to become who we wish to be. No one is forcing us to think or behave in a certain way, well, not yet anyway. Also, everything we think and do has consequences, and this is because of the law of karma, or the law of cause and effect. Everything we do and think, whether good or bad, will have consequences for ourselves and other people. And these consequences are not lost. They will determine the frequency of who we ultimately become. So the law of karma is not some kind of punishment, it just determines who we are. And in that way, the consequences are fair. They're a direct result of our thoughts and actions that have not been forced upon us. We have chosen to do those things through our own free will. The second point I made at the end of part 2 was that we have support to help us evolve and ascend. And what I meant by this is that we all have guides and helpers who are not in this dimension. They're in higher dimensions, but they can communicate with us in this dimension. We can't perceive them with our physical senses, but we can learn to communicate with them through our more subtle senses. I've been communicating with my main spirit guide since I was about 28, and she has been an enormous help to me during my life. Because I have free will, I don't always have to do what she suggests, but when I finally do, I realise that her suggestions will help me enormously to evolve and develop. And I often wish that I'd taken her suggestions sooner than I did. If you would like to learn how to communicate with your spirit guides and helpers, then I teach this. So you're welcome to contact me and sign up to do my course. So now on to, are we living in a simulation? And there's further points that I'd like to add to part 1 and part 2. So the first one is, there are many ancient teachings that speak to the fact that we are probably living in a simulation. For example, Tibetan Buddhists have taught that all of this is an illusion, none of it is real. Similarly, the Australian Aboriginals talk about the dream time, which is also referred to as the dreaming. This refers to a sacred era of creation and the spiritual essence of the world. It's not just a time period in the past, but a timeless reality that continues to influence the present and the future. The dreaming suggests that reality only exists in our perception, So it is not solid and real in a physical sense. Another point suggesting that we live in a simulation is that all of the designs in nature seem to be designed according to mathematical patterns, such as the Fibonacci sequence, the golden ratio, and fractals. This design program, or sacred geometry, is found in the designs of all of nature, animals and plants, and even the proportions of our own body, that suggests that we are being run by a mathematical program. Also, a theoretical physicist, Dr. James Gates, was studying quarks and electrons years ago, and he actually found error-correcting code buried deep in the equations that were being used to describe string theory. The final point is that we create realities in our computer games that mirror our own world, and they're becoming rapidly more and more sophisticated. It's becoming more and more difficult to distinguish the scenes in the computer game from our own reality. And if we can do this, then why can't more intelligent beings do this to create our own world? It's certainly possible. Also, AI deepfakes are almost impossible to distinguish from reality. Deepfakes are created by AI using thousands of images and videos of a certain person that can make them appear to say or do things that they never actually said or did. And by the way, AI is predicted to surpass human intelligence within the next 25 years, which has even more implications for whether we're living in a simulation or not. So, I hope you found this interesting and helpful today. If you did, please like and subscribe to help grow this channel. I really appreciate it. So wherever you are in the world, I wish you love and courage in your journey, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for listening. Take care, and bye for now.